So is this new that we're starting to see India as a way of accessing Nvidia chips for Russia, for example?
So I think the role of India has certainly come into focus for the West, so for Europe and the US. Over the past couple of years, they've been looking at various countries in Asia as transshipment hubs where these goods can essentially come from subsidiaries, vendors, distributors, these goods primarily manufactured by Western companies and primarily US companies, actually. So the role of India is kind of, I guess, the magnitude of the role of India as a hub has certainly become much greater over the last few months.
And why have they become such prominent actors in what is basically Russia trying to navigate barriers to accessing US tech?
So there's a lot of reasons. I mean, partly when we talk to officials in the US and Europe about it, one thing they point to is that India has been buying a lot of Russian oil, and Russia has a lot of rupees at its disposal. So it's been using these rupees it's been spending them essentially buying these goods out of India. So that's one part, a big part driving this increase of this trade. Another reason is also that Western officials, the U.S. and Europe, have put a lot of effort into cracking down on other transshipment hubs. For example, the earlier part of last year, there was a big focus in the UAE, Turkey, Central Asia, as areas where these goods were being sent to Russia. So I think a large part is the rupees that Russia has to spend, but another one is that they're cracking down. The West is cracking down on other areas where these goods were originally shipped from.
Now, these Nvidia chips are in Dell servers known as PowerEdge XE9680s. And Dell has said, look, since ever the sanctions came into place, they've stopped shipments to Russia. But I'm interested in whether ultimately any of this is actually illegal.
Well, technically, it's not illegal in that India is not bound by U.S. or European sanctions. And in terms of the companies, I mean, it's true, a chip produced by a company in the U.S., I mean, it's trade cycle, I guess, around the world is impossibly difficult to track because you have vendors, distributors, subsidiaries, all these other kind of companies or, people that take part in the trade route. So in terms of legal responsibility, it's almost impossible to place that on someone, certainly in the U.S., who would be liable. But what could happen ex post is that, which has been happening, is that the U.S. could, for example, designate a lot of these companies, or a lot of these intermediaries around the world who do participate in the trade of these goods.